Hello everyone, Anonymous here, and I hope you all are having a very productive day. Before we get the video started, I want to say to all of you that please be very careful and safe. All hell is losing out there. The virus thing is going crazy, and I want you to be safe, right? Take precautions or whatever it takes to be safe from this stupid virus, and especially the people around the Europe and the Asian continent. It's breaking the hell out there. Right, so today we're going to look at this outstanding plugin called the Genesis Pro. I'm going to show you some unique feature of this plugin, right? Why is this plugin excellent and why you should consider buying it. It's only €1, right? But if you look at the sound engine, it's worth 100. So let's go ahead and look at some of the unique features first, right? Let's keep things interesting here. So if you look at this section right here, you can see that we have four options for the oscillator. In the first one, we have two oscillators. In the second one, we have the one ROM player and one single oscillator. To keep things in perspective, think of the layer of Nexus and Silent One. This is the same configuration, right? On top we have the ROM, which is Nexus, and on bottom we have the Silent One. And then we have the multi-wave oscillator, which gives us four different waveforms, and you can choose how many waveforms you want. You can disable any of them at any time, single or multiple. Then we have all oscillators off, and here you may be thinking, if all oscillators are off, what the hell is going to make the sound, right? There's no sound going on. But that brings us to the second most amazing thing about the Genesis, which is the vocal harmonizer. When you load the Genesis, the first sound you hear is this one. I am Genesis, virtual hybrid synthesizer. Right? And it's coming from this function right here, the harmonize and the four-band option. And what you can do with it is that if you go here and select a sample, let's say this one, right? And then you go here and load any chord here, a MIDI file, right? So you can load a MIDI file here and a sample, any sample here, right? And then you have to put the information about the sample, like the tempo or what kind of resampling you want, and then it will play the harmonized sample for you. Right, so you can harmonize any sample with the any MIDI note, right? It's pretty cool option and I absolutely love it. You can choose the format option from here. You can also play the harmonizer live using the MIDI, or you can create the rhythm. So it's a pretty cool option. Actually, you have the same option here where you can play the MIDI note inside the Genesis itself. So you have to load the MIDI file in this section and play any note. Genesis will play the entire MIDI pattern for you. So it's a pretty cool option. Another cool feature about Genesis is that for each oscillator configuration, you have different options. For example, in the mode oscillator here, you have the unison voices. In the ROM, you have the unison as well, but in the multi-wave oscillator, the unison things just wash away and you have this multi-wave oscillator setting. Now here you can control the oscillator core, so you can control how many oscillators waveforms you want. Talking about the waveforms, you have a combination of the analog and digital waveforms. So the saw wave here will give you a feel of both the analog and the digital, right? We have the FM here, stands for frequency modulation. For the multi-wave oscillator, you have 3 FM and 1 PW pulse width, and for the ROM, you have 1 FM and FM filter and pulse width, right? The ROM player has some very cool um, presets, and in the Genesis itself, you can find a lot of cool presets here. This one is my personal favorite, this Braveheart. And then you can also press this audition button right here and hear the sample in real time using any MIDI setting. Right, so any sample, any preset you choose, there will be a pattern associated with it, and you can hear how it sounds like. So yeah, the developers made sure that the preset can be actually used in the project, and you know how to use it, right? There is always an idea, so that's a pretty cool option. Other than that, we have different starting modules for the sound design process. For example, here we have the soft tone, right? Then we have hard tone, the plug tone, or you can create your own template using these options. Like you choose any option from here, you choose any option from here, then you choose run the template, and it will create a sound design template for you. So it's a pretty fast option. um, Other cool thing that I love about Genesis is the filter section. In the filter, you have integrated EQ section, right? You have the bypass, high pass, and the notch function here. And when you go to this here, this is my favorite part. This is actually the option for the drive. In other plugins, you have the drive associated with the filter, but it only provides one kind of sound. In Genesis, you have many options for the kind of drive you want, right? So my personal favorite is this soft one. So it works very nicely on the plug sounds or the lead sounds. So this is another cool option. Another amazing option inside Genesis. By the way, this ADSR1 is the main amp envelope. So talking about the envelopes here, you have different modulation. You can choose your modulation from here, and it will automatically create the modulation for your sound. And here you have another pretty cool option, the smoother, and you can control how much attack you want for your envelope, right? How much tight you want your envelope, and it's pretty good to create the organic behavior in your sound design process. Genesis have an amazing FX section as well. You can find tons of effects here. You can enable or disable them by double clicking or using this option right here. Other than that, it has a pretty cool step sequencer and the ARP option. So you can always use them to create beautiful ARPs, and the effects combined with them sounds very good. In the modulation section, we have 4 ADSR and 2 LFO. The LFO type has very amazing sequences and the LFO types. So these are little different than what you can find in another sense. So you can look at the LFO shape in this window right here and control the phase and other um, destination of the modulation, output amount, velocity trigger, and different kind of option from there, right? So the modulation works just fine. A cool fun part about Genesis is this option here. If you go to the Analyze User Profile, it will tell you how much sound design you are creating, how much presets you are changing, and how many sounds you are making from scratch, right? So it's a good analysis tool for any producer who want to learn the sound design or how they are using the resources in their production. This is a good analysis tool for that. In the next video, I will show you how to actually design the sounds. The best way to learn about a plugin and the interesting way is to actually design some sounds in it. So in the next video, we will design some pretty cool sounds using the modulation effects and wave shapes inside the Genesis Pro. I hope you found this video useful, and again, please be careful about the virus thing. I'll see you around.